So, Unveiling FME 2016.
Welcome everyone. This is our annual Unveiling webinar.
Yeah.
My name is Dale Lutz. I'm one of the co-founders of Safe Software.
Yeah, and I'm Don Murray, one of the other co-founders, and well, the other co-founders, really. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Indeed. And it's so great, I mean, honestly, to be able to show the hard work of the whole team.
Yeah, it really is a great team that we get to work with every day, and it just makes coming to work a lot of fun. So,
yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what can we say about this release?
Well,
okay, well, in honor of this very popular movie that's out there,
we managed to work in a little title. We'll unveil. Oh, there it is.
There it is, FME 2016. And what's this picture about?
It's basically meant to show that FME powers the whole world of data.
Absolutely.
It's also revealing the fact that often FME is unseen.
Yes.
It's inside there, and it never gets the glory.
That's right. Just helping data move.
Helping data move quietly. So we sliced it open and are showing it to everybody this year.
That's right. And all the XML fans will be happy to see the position of XML on the gears. It's completely accidental.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Yeah. So we also have a couple of other webinars coming up. So today Dale and I are just going to just skim the surface of many things.
Yes.
And then next, is that on Monday?
I think it's on Monday. We're going to be doing a deep dive in desktop and digging into all the details. And then, Don, you're going to be doing, that'll be Mark Ireland, the FME evangelist, and myself.
Yeah.
And then on February 2nd...
I'm doing it with Aaron Koenig, so we're going to deep dive into many things FME Server. So
and
lots of good stuff.
While we're on this slide, we'll just mention that FME Server is not launching today, the 2016 server.
It's going to launch on the 29th.
A couple days before. People get a couple days to...
Yeah, there were a few systems that didn't check out, so we had to pull her back.
Yes, indeed. And just to be very clear, there will also be a tiny little point release of desktop on the same day as server releases, just to synchronize the engines.
Absolutely, make sure we're both running the same engines.
That's right. So, but there'll be only tiny changes that may affect a couple of server interactions. We're not expecting anything.
That's right. So if you look closely, you'll see it's FME 2016.0.1.
Yes, that's what it'll say. Yeah. So anyway, be sure to tune into those.
Absolutely. Okay. So what's this about, Dale?
Well, we tried very hard over the past year, more than ever, to get the input of users, even though we've always tried, but we tried to be more systematic via Trello board, and before that on the World Tour last year, to try to gather requirements. We really want FME to delight people as they use it. And this is our most recent ideas board on the knowledge.safe.com. And so we've put a lot of effort into incorporating the ideas of customers.
Yeah. And so go to ideas from the knowledge base, and Dale and I do scan that. I scan that at least once a week, and I know Dale scans it probably 4 times a day.
Well, at least every night. Actually.
Yeah. So it's really great to see what users are asking for there. And
actually,
many of the stuff that's come in that's been asked there has just been put in. So.
Yes. There is actually enough activity you could scan it 4 times a day, actually.
Yeah, you could. It's amazing how much stuff is there, so that's great. So your input is really important, so please keep putting it in there, so that's great.
So FME 2016, we did look by the numbers. There was more than almost 6,000 code commits, and that's like 30 a working day. So that's a lot of stuff going in from the team. PRs are sort of the things that track problems. More than 4,000 of those closed. That's a lot each day, too. And not only do they get closed, they get verified, and we check that it's all correct.
That's right. And enhancements, too. That's problems, enhancements, everything. Yeah, everything.
And more than 1,000 cases, another 1,000 reports from customers. Some of those would be enhancements, some of them fixes, but that's a lot as well. So that's like, like 5 each working day. So a lot of changes. So the net result of it all.
Is FME is all about moving data, and no matter where the data comes from, we always strive to make it easier for users to get the data they want to work with from wherever it is to where they need it to be. So that's what FME is all about.
So this presentation is going to be one where we kind of explore some thematic areas of the changes in FME and kind of give you a survey of those grouped by theme. So we're not doing it by desktop and server. We're just kind of looking at different aspects, and one of them is the cloud.
Yeah, it's 2016 after all, so more and more we're seeing data sources, data destinations, people wanting to work with data that is in the cloud. So,
yes.
Yeah.
So in particular, in terms of formats, ArcGIS Online is a major GIS cloud format. That was in previous FME, so it's not new, but we did improve the support dramatically. Yeah. So for one thing, it's no longer limited to shapefile attribute naming, which after all, it is 2016, like our Prime Minister would point out. And so that makes that experience a lot better.
Yeah, Amazon Web Services, of course, we work with that extensively, and so we support Amazon Aurora, and so we're pretty excited about that. So in general, a lot of our Amazon Web Services, the support has been enhanced as well.
And now I know it's only like 5 minutes or 6 minutes into the release of FME 2016, but I will say something about 2016.1, which will come out in around early April, late March.
In time for the World Tour.
In time for the World Tour, where we're going to be adding 2016.1 is a format release, actually, and we're adding a whole bunch of formats that are actually cloud-based ones. So things like DocumentDB of Amazon's and
Microsoft's. Oh, that's Microsoft's, isn't it?
Sorry, Microsoft Azure DocumentDB, which is no NoSQL thing. Some of these are cloud or on premises. The Elasticsearch, there'll be support for that because that thing is spatial. MongoDB, CouchDB. So a lot of these things, which can often be deployed in cloud, will be continue to be added, and they're already working in-house here. We're just holding them back for the next payload.
That's right. So an FME server, of course, we want to be able to connect with more systems. So we've added support for secure FTP. So if you're using a secure FTP site with FME server, you can now use that. Also, we have an FTP watch publisher, so now you can trigger actions by them files being dropped into an FTP site, as well as we have FME workspace subscriber, where you can trigger basically anything. This really replaces the old or HTTP push approach we used to use when we were triggering a workspace, and just gives you a lot more power.
Absolutely.
Okay, on the FME Cloud front, I like that.
CloudFront.
I like that. That's good. That's good. CloudFront is an AWS service. So there you go. So a number of things here. The first one is now we enable you to schedule when an instance is going to be started and stopped or paused. So that's a big deal. Many clients, they only want their instance to start at 8 a.m. and then stop at 5 p.m. And so now with FME Cloud, you can do that. So,
Wait a minute, Don. Does that mean that people aren't paying for anything while it's not working?
Absolutely. So it's even cheaper.
Wow. So we actually made something that saves customers piles of money.
We did. We did.
Does Gary, our CFO, know about this?
We haven't broken it to him yet, but yeah.
I mean, seriously, we don't want people to not use our service because it's sitting idle, and so we realize that we can save them customers money, and by saving them money, they'll use it more.
Yeah.
And so that's what this is all about. Actually, there's a lot of great use cases for this as a money-saving technique.
Yeah, absolutely. We have some clients who are using this, and then on the FME server, they have their own schedule, so then they know this fires up.
Yeah.
And then 5 minutes later, their jobs fire, and and then at the end of the day, they shut it down. Of course, they can shut it down earlier if they want, but yeah. So we're pretty excited about that.
This next one is interesting because I thought that it actually was already deployed.
Yeah, we're using it internally, and it works great. What you can do is set alerts to identify when your machine is getting overloaded, and then you get an email, so scale up your machine. You can also set an alert for when your machine is underutilized, so maybe you want to then scale your machine down in size. And that's coming soon.
And this is all FME Cloud stuff.
Yeah.
And it'll be very soon. One last thing, as we just found out earlier this week that Amazon is opening a Canadian data center in Montreal. And
by the end of the year. Yeah.
So for the Canadians out there, you're going to get to have cloud in their own country then,
I know, so that's great. So we'll be able to talk about that on the World Tour. So,
yes.
Yeah, very, very good. So, connect data. There's our friend the lizard.
With those funky glasses.
I love those.
I got a pair of glasses like that. I think I'll wear them on World Tour.
Cloud punk, isn't that what they call it?
Steampunk.
Steampunk.
Cloud punk.
Oh,
hey, that's what we need.
We need cloud
punk.
There you go.
I love it. So, 11 new formats by my official count. It's actually very hard to figure out how many formats are in FME.
I know.
And I was doing some digging. Do you know, Don, that there's more than 70 third-party formats that we don't ship ourselves but that we're aware of?
Wow.
and so we don't even count those in our statistics ever.
Yeah.
But this year, several more were added into there. But the Google or general transit feed, that's one thing.
My favorite's indoor GML. Anybody who knows me would guess that if it's XML based, it's going to be my favorite.
Yeah.
And no, seriously, it's a pretty key format.
It is actually a really interesting format.
It really is. It really is. So.
As formats go, I was laughing a little bit because in my youth I was a Sybase guy, so it's good to see that come back.
Absolutely.
And so that's there. I think the Aurora, of course, we talked about is on the it's Amazon's great database for big data.
Yeah.
FME Workspace is kind of weird. We can read a workspace and then return statistics and information about it.
Yeah.
And this is for organizations that want to catalog or extract metadata on their workspaces.
So,
But portal, if I was going to pick my favorite, it would be the ArcGIS portal.
Okay.
Because that really lets the people that want to use the facilities of ArcGIS online, but they have a on-premises installation, can work with those things fully within FME. So we're pretty excited about all these.
Absolutely.
On the Transformers side, we're going to look into a few of these in more detail, but there's some very significant in this list. This list is short, but it doesn't...
yeah. The attribute validator is my favorite.
Yeah.
It's tough, though. There's a lot of good ones there, but...
the manager, I know you're a big fan of, Don.
Yeah, exactly. And the feature writer, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, those three are huge.
That's the three heavy hitters, I think. In terms of the lightweight hitters on this one, duplicate filter probably shouldn't be in the list because it's just a rename of a duplicate remover, but I left it in because we finally made, if you happen to know your data is sorted, you can tell the duplicate filter, hey, this data is sorted, and guess what? It uses way less memory and runs faster.
Yeah.
So there's an improvement after like 20 years.
Yeah. No, that's good. And the Kinesis stuff is yet another Amazon service. It's high-speed data streaming, so
yes, you
can think of it as like WebSockets on steroids. So.
Spoiler alert, I'm thinking we should rename all the Amazon things with AWS on the front.
You could do that. Yeah.
They'd all be neighbors of each other. We did it with Raster. It's been done before.
It's been done before.
Because there's getting to be quite a pile of these, right? There's the S3 ones.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a wild idea.
It's crazy.
Whoa.
A lot of stuff in the store, and that's something we're not really going to talk about too much today, but other than we're really overhauling the store for 2016.
There's a little bit on the bottom left there that gives a little spoiler about that.
Yeah, so you can see FME Hub. So it's being renamed, and
Stephanie got out her pen and fixed the name up
for us. Yeah. So we'll probably have a webinar when that's released, but it'll have things like private repositories for you and public, and just really take it to the next level.
Does anybody know what JPKSJ stands for?
No.
There's 3 of them. They're using my AWS naming technique.
Is JP Japanese?
I'm guessing Takashi knows about these things.
That's right.
But they look pretty exciting. Of this list, I personally was quite happy about the hex binner.
Yeah, that one's really useful.
It was really clever, and you can download these and crack them open to see how they work.
Yeah.
And that one, Matthew Bruckner, a good long-time FME supporter from Calgary, now Houston or someplace like that, sent it in, and then we refined it a wee bit and put it up there. But it makes hex bits. Absolutely. So Brian Timoney will be excited about that too.
Yeah. And the what 3 words one are fun.
Yes.
They, basically any 3 by 3 meter square has a 3-word combination, and we're gonna have some fun with that on the world tour as well.
Like you can try to write a whole story using those words.
Absolutely.
And then decode. Yeah, but anyway, these things in the hub and store are really very helpful, and it's very. I always am happy when I come across customers that have stumbled upon these and are deploying them to great effect. The other thing is, I was looking, and some of them go way back to 2005.
Is that right?
Yeah, like I was using one the other day, and I cracked it open, and I noticed, wow, 2005 by Dean Hintz.
Wow.
Still there, still chugging along.
Unreal. I like the zigzag remover. What if you like zigzags? I want a zigzag adder.
I guess that's like if you're tracking where rabbits are running,
I guess
you can straighten out their line. That is an interesting one.
I know. There's lots of interesting things.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about everybody's favorite, XML, SQL, and some few other things. Okay.
I like that head there.
I know. I think we're going to call it. It's very cloud punk.
Cloud punk. It's a cloud punk head.
Okay. So yeah, so on the XML front, we've now made it even easier to read XML by we built this nice tree navigation widget, and it's useful in a number of places. One, when you have a complex XML document, that's on the far left, you can just now navigate your XML document to pick what elements actually become features in your FME. And then also we have, do you want to talk about the middle
Yeah,
one?
the group. So the middle one is if you have got complicated attribute structures flowing through FME, and people that work with shape files would never see this, but people that work with XML will have seen this time and time again. Yeah. Or if you've done some interesting transformers that have made lists that are, Don used to call them structured lists and have elements in them. In this case, there's an attribute list 0.country out there. Yeah. Basically, we will present those lists and structures in a collapsed way. Yeah. If you're using IFC, any of these more complicated things, makes a huge difference.
It really does, yeah.
And then lastly, on the right-hand side, if you're in any of the database formats, this was actually, both the center and the right were not what we planned when we did this work.
Right,
we were
all about XML. Yeah.
As with most things at SAFE, it's all about XML.
It's all about XML.
And then all the rest just kind of comes along for the ride.
Absolutely.
And so this is about if you're picking tables from databases.
So this is PostGIS, this looks like, right? It was a PostGIS schema?
Yeah. That's right. And so several, if not all, I don't think quite all, but most of the databases can operate in this way. Yeah. PostGIS is kind of the leader, but with time, all the rest are going to be like that. And I'll just say a little word on this, the 23rd anniversary almost of the beginning of SAFE. We're just a little bit into our 23rd year.
Yeah.
If we still were working lots with SAIF, it would have really worked with this really nice.
It would have been great.
This is really a GUI built for SAIF.
It really is. Yeah.
So, but we'll have to settle 23 years later. So Mark Sondheim, this feature's for you, even though you won't get to use it properly.
That's right.
All right, this is one we'll look at more in the deep dive, but we do this thing at SAFE every year called Innovation Days, and actually customer requests often feed into that, where we shout out our normal work, and people get to work on anything they want with whoever they want. So the team structures dissolve and so on. And this year, actually, we're going to be extending that.
We're going to have garbage days as well.
Yes. So we'll have 4 or 5 days in August called Garbage Days, which will be for anybody to work on anything that bugs them.
That's right.
So that's different than Innovation Days, which is sort of pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
So an Innovation Days thing was to say, you know, a lot of these SQL tools out there let you just right-click and do stuff on a database right away. And sometimes in FME that would be nice. Instead of running a whole workspace, if I know I just want to drop some tables or do some things like that. So you can right-click in the SQL editors, pop down some statements, and then there's a new button at the bottom there. And Don, maybe you can just shake the pointer so we see the run button. There it is. Where it is?
There it is.
There it is. That run button down at the bottom, and that will run whatever SQL you got right then and there. It also is a nice way to test if your select statement is even correct.
And you know how I'd use this? I would have a SQL executor all by itself that would have the drop statements that I wanted to do for tests, and then I could drop.
Yes.
Because otherwise, I always have to remember to reset some of my settings.
Yep.
You know, so
it's a great way.
It's a great thing.
Have one of these sitting there. You could actually have a bunch of insert statements to preload it. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you're a person who spends your life in databases, we think that this is going to delight you when you hit that run button. Now, of course, it means business. If you
it really is run. So make sure you're not dropping a production table or anything like that.
I remember as a youth working somewhere where I had a little bit more power than I should have with databases. But we do give you a warning here. When you hit run, it's going to say, hey, this is really going to do stuff.
This is really going to change the database. Yeah.
So that's a big deal.
Yeah, that is.
Regular expressions. So there's a few things to say about regular expressions. For one thing, all regular expressions that customers interact with are now modified to use the same underlying regular expression engine.
Wow.
So instead of 3 or 4 historical ones,
that's right.
They've been brought one expression engine to rule them all. And I believe it is the Perl syntax, whatever that is. But on top of that, we've added the ability for you to interactively see if your regular expression is working. So anytime you're entering or authoring a regular expression, you can type in or paste in some text. That's your test string, and then as you type, it'll show you what is going to match.
That's awesome.
And so this is a standard one that Tiana likes, FME rocks, and for some reason it doesn't match the first one because I guess that syntax means you need at least 3 O's. Right. I'm not familiar with that syntax.
Either am I. That's a pretty advanced regular expression, I gotta say.
Well, actually, but the little help down there, you know, if you just wave your mouse, we also give you a quick reference in here. and Tiana's picking the second from the bottom there, 3 or more of A. Yeah. So actually, I would have figured that out.
Yeah, just by looking down there.
Yep. So thanks, Tiana, for teaching us all some regular expressions. But very, very powerful thing when you're moving data. We know that people use regular expressions like crazy. This should really unlock or democratize that power.
I used to go to a website.
Yeah. And that's what I remember Stuart going to World Tour showing everybody how to go to rubular.com, except you pronounce it differently than me. Rubular.
Rubular. HTML.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's FME about really? You know, just automating everything. So yeah. So automation really starts on the desktop, and so with this release, we've really worked hard to make it even easier to build your workflows.
I think Tiana's posting a blog, maybe even right now, where she's going to mention some of the information that was given by a customer from Arab that had this really interesting chart about when is it worth automating.
Yes.
You know, if you do the same task every week and it takes you 2 minutes, but it would take you half an hour to automate it, after how long are you in the good?
Yeah, and it's a great chart.
It's a great chart. Check it out. But what we're trying to do with FME is make that decision even easier by driving down the time it takes you to make that automation in the first place.
Absolutely. So yeah, so the attribute manager, this is huge now. No matter what, whenever you think about attributes, I always just put down an attribute manager. You can create them, delete them, rename them. You can even have multiple attribute operations because it executes them in order.
Yes.
So this is a game changer for sure.
It's really one attribute transformer to rule them all.
Exactly.
And now I know that, Don, you said that the attribute validator was your favorite.
Yeah.
But I'm going to challenge you on that because I predict you're going to use this thing more.
I will use this more.
Especially because you have the 10 transformer
I know
rule.
I have the 10 transformer rule. I'm not allowed to use more than 10 transformers. So now I can do way more than this.
You can do like the equivalent of about 8 transformers with this thing. So that's going to really free up a lot of transformers for you.
Exactly. Especially when you think on the attribute values, you have those conditional values you can put in there as well, so you can do lots of power. It's crazy powerful.
Yeah. So you can rename, reorder. We've never actually allowed people in the past to reorder the attributes on a workspace.
No.
So if you want 3 or 4 that you love to be at the top when you're kind of looking at your attributes, you can just move them on up there.
Really?
Yeah.
It did that. I reordered, but only to do other things, and I never actually looked at the outputs.
Yeah, that's right. So, and the other thing is, we're setting up for a future world, and again, I'm 23 minutes in, so I can talk about the future.
Absolutely, you can.
Now.
You made it.
But where we're going to put attribute type out there. It's not there yet. Workbench is sort of aware of the type of attributes, but not fully.
Yeah.
And that's a long time goal. I won't promise it's there in FME 2017, but I would be sad if it wasn't there in FME 2018.
And XML will be an attribute type, will it?
It is.
Absolutely.
It is already.
With this little brother Jason.
They're already attribute types.
Yeah.
We just can't get at them on the workspace.
Right. That's right.
So
that's new for 2016.
And then this attribute manager would let you force different attribute types and also give a clue to the writer downstream, and that's a little bit of foreshadowing about what type to use.
Yes.
And so that's coming, not there now, but watch for attribute manager to continue to get properly pumped up.
Yeah, he's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a huge deal.
Yeah.
It began actually because we wanted to make custom writers. If people know, you can make a custom reader in FME, but we are doing some sketching to say, how would we author a custom writer?
Yeah.
And we realized to author a custom writer, to make that work at all, it would be very handy to have a transformer that was a writer.
That's right.
And thus was born the FeatureWriter.
Yeah.
Now, we thought that the FeatureWriter would be able to be released in FME 2015.1.
Yeah.
Boy, were we wrong.
It was hard. Yeah.
It's a tough thing, and we've spent the whole year on it.
Yeah.
And even with a whole year of work, we know that we have additional things we're going to do to it in the future.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, I want to embed the attribute manager inside there too.
So then you can rename attributes as it's going into the writer.
Right.
Yeah.
Today, this shows the validator ahead of time, but I think the most common platform we'll see is people doing an attribute manager followed by a feature writer.
That's right.
So that's what I would recommend.
That's right.
But what is this thing? Don, do you want to take a crack at describing what this thing
Sure.
is?
This is so the easiest way to think about this is think about the feature reader. Anywhere within a workflow, You can read data from anything. The feature writer is the same thing. Anywhere in a data flow, you can write your data, and then you can continue to go on. So now at the end, you know, often the problem with FME, well, I shouldn't say that, but I'm going to say that, is the writers are executed effectively outside of the workbench. And so if you want to do anything after the writer, like let's say send a notification that your data has been successfully written,
or upload it to an FTP
or
site.
upload it to an FTP site. You couldn't do that. So in FME Server before, we had these notifications at the end triggered when the data has been written to a database or written to a file, so they could be uploaded. But really, we didn't know that the data was the notification actually went before the data was written, because the data is written after the entire workbench is done. So now with this, the feature writer, things are written in order, so you could read some features, write some features, and then go on and do other stuff. You could also take different action if your summary field indicated that there was problems with the data, so or the write didn't happen.
And actually, I know customers that often want to write statistics about what they've written.
Exactly.
The summary feature contains a nice list of all how many feature types there were and how many for each feature type.
Yeah.
So we can't tell you yet what the writers rejected.
Yeah.
That's a bridge a little too far right now, but if we're looking into the future, that's something that's going to come.
It's also, you know, in the future, again, it's also important for database writing. Sometimes you need to write, you want to update multiple tables, and the order you write to the tables matters. You know, when you start dealing with foreign keys and all these sorts of things.
Are you saying that order in a workspace could matter, Don?
I'm saying order in a workspace could matter.
It sounds like that's a good user request that has been heavily voted upon.
That's right.
Not in FME 2016.0, but we're turning our guns onto that shortly. For these fine-grained things where you have control at this level, knowing what fires and in what order is an important
really
thing.
Key, yeah.
But yeah, the feature writer is really a game-changing transformer. I'll also mention about a pattern that we've noticed Dimitri internally working with. These aren't on the FME Hub yet, but they will be soon. But the basic concept is, if there is external command line programs that you would like to wrap up and automate,
like ImageMagick, for example,
or LAST tools, Martin Eisenberg's great LAST tools, you can route your raster, in the case of ImageMagick, into a feature writer, output a nice juicy TIFF. Then the next thing is a system caller to ImageMagick to do some kind of blur or whatever it is you want. And the next thing right after that
could be a feature reader if you want.
Is a feature reader that brings that resulting raster back into FME to send to Oracle or wherever else might have been awkward if you're just using ImageMagick. And with LAST tools, we output any point cloud to an LAS file, run Martin Eisenberg's fancy pants things, which do really interesting stuff, and then we suck that back in, and out it can go to any format that you might want to work with. Actually, Autodesk Recap, for example, which we didn't talk about, that's a new point cloud format in this FME. So that's kind of a pattern, and I'll also do, again, now it's 8:30 almost, I can talk about another future thing. Many customers have wanted R.
Yes.
So it's not Talk Like a Pirate Day, but if you're a stats person, you might like R. And the R is a tricky beast to work with, but the pattern that everybody else that works with R has done, and we are going to be the same way, is you output some stuff to some kind of a file.
Invoke R.
Invoke R, and then you suck back later whatever the artifacts was that R gave you. And I received word last night that our first prototype of this we have succeeded in doing by using the feature writer. We're gonna ultimately wrap that up tighter, but the feature writer is letting us prototype the R integration. In fact, we could make that available to, if anybody wants to be a pioneer, just chat in right now. We could send it to you. I'll warn you, we're going to do a better job of it, but if right this minute you have an R need, you can get going with it.
So really it enables FME to integrate with other things in a way never before.
Much easier
you could
integration.
take whatever third-party tool you wanted and just run it.
If it's got a command line, if you can get to it from the command line, you're pretty much golden. And so we're going to see. Lastly, I'll point out FME lead.fw. Maybe, Robin, you can chat that out so folks can click on it. My friend Mark Ireland has written a very interesting and detailed story about the feature writer there. We will do demos of that during the deep dive. And lastly, one last spoiler alert, I can imagine a future. I have been to the top of the mountain, Don, and I've seen a future where there are no readers and writers.
Yes.
there are only feature readers and feature writers, and the paradigm gets simpler, and the power is concentrated and greater, and we even drop the word feature.
Absolutely. Just have reader, writer. Absolutely.
We will get...
And could we go back in time?
Yes.
We would have never started with readers and writers. We would have started with factories.
If we could get into that phone booth,
yes,
and go back in time,
yes, we would go back and tell our earlier selves, don't do it.
Yeah, just do
factories.
Yeah, just do transformers for reading and writing. But we will get there.
Yep.
One day.
Absolutely. Okay.
Hey, there is that booth we need to use.
Ooh, what happened there? Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, we're on that. That's that phone booth that we need to use to go back.
Absolutely.
Although it's red, so for copyright purposes, having it red is just fine.
That's right.
I can't promise it goes back in time since it's red.
That's right, since it's red.
But I do think I'm going to wear a fez like that during FME World Tour. Hey, Robin, or Stephanie, can you make a note to Ashley that we need at least 4 fezzes?
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. That'd be hilarious.
For FME fez. But this is about database connections. Now, these were in FME
2015. They were introducing them partway through, weren't they? Like
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But anyway, we had connections. They're more refined. They're even better. But the big deal is you can use them on server.
Yeah. So that's really nice. So now when you go to publish a workspace, and you're using a database connection, you have the opportunity to push it to the server.
Yeah.
Or you can use one that's already there.
Yeah.
So yeah. So now you don't have your passwords flying all over the place.
That's right. And so folks should find that a nice end-to-end. Now we know that many people want to share these within an enterprise, and so we're working on a concept that could be like an FME enterprise or work group thing, and that's a little spoiler as well, that will facilitate that in the future.
Yeah. Okay.
One click. This came out of Innovation Days.
Right. So I think we're going to show this.
Yeah. Are you all set up?
Well, I certainly hope so.
Okay, I made Dawn a special workspace yesterday to show this.
Okay, so here's the workspace, and here's some data here.
Yeah. So we, hey, I'm using feature writers even.
Yeah.
So
if I click on this,
there's the little button is there with the viewer or inspect icon, and if he hits that, that's a database. It's a PostGIS database, and something's happening. Yeah. Hey, it fired it up and it loaded it, and there's the background map.
Yeah.
And so anyway, one-click inspection anywhere. You don't have to do some fiddling around. If you click on something, and one thing we wanted to show, he's got it highlighted. It's going to say zoom to selected, and ooh, it animates now.
I know.
That's nice. Nice eye candy.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that's that.
I mean, what else? If we're in the inspector, again, a pile of work was done in this thing. There's the table view, the background maps, new icons. There's the mark location. That's that Star Trek icon. We could show that to folks.
Sure.
If you get on this.
Got to look at the right screen.
There's the Star Trek icon. You can type in an X and a Y, and then boing, it goes there.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of other power with this thing. It'll even work across the North Pole.
Yeah, that's right. It'll do the right thing around the poles.
A little bit over-engineered, but oh, look at it. You can put centimeter. Oh, anyway, it sings, it dances.
Yeah. You don't have to figure it out if you're in lat long how big you want your buffer. So yeah.
So that's that function. In fact, actually, Don, I think we're off-roading here seriously, but if you right-click on this baby, can you say mark location? Yes. There, if you say mark location, I think that... Look,
there we go.
It sort of throbs that way, and if you bring up the mark, the Star Trek icon again, it's still throbbing. There we go. And so now you can put a buffer around that baby. And let's put it to feet, since we are in Texas.
Okay.
There we go.
Is that big enough? No. Make it 1,000 feet.
That one, 1,000 feet should be interesting.
There we go.
There it is.
Yeah.
So it works.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
I think that's me. There's always lots of small enhancements in here, but that's the main one that we wanted to show today.
Yeah. No, that's good.
And what's the next thing we're talking about?
Bookmarks.
Yes. This is because a lot of people spend time presenting to others or trying to explain to other people what their workspaces do. And so Don's going to fire up. This is all FME Mac, incidentally, which has also had a huge amount of improvements if you are a Mac person.
Okay.
But all this stuff works. So this is a typical workspace. And Don, do you want to just show how you got that thing out there?
Right, I had to customize the nav.
It's by default it's not out there, but if you are someone that presents workspaces, you got to go out there and find the thing that says Workspace Navigator. So somewhere on there, it says Workspace Navigator.
It looks like this,
Yeah, and you drag it out there. So that's good.
Yeah.
Incidentally, the Mac has it as a proper native toolbar configurator. You got to say done now to get rid of that. Okay. So anyway, the Bookmark Navigator's there, and then Don will just start to walk through it, and then one by one we pan and zoom like a Prezi between the bookmarks.
This is huge for any time you have to present your workspaces.
Yeah. So if nothing else, come to FME World Tour and see us use these to do it. But in general, we recommend people use bookmarks to make stuff
more readable.
Right, and just as a nice thing, and now this will allow us to present them more nicely.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
So that, we're pretty pleased with the way that has ended up.
Okay.
Oh, version upgrade.
Yes.
Well, people have wanted this for
a long time.
Roughly
10 years.
And if someone might remember, in FME 2005, we actually did this briefly. But
it was a little heavy-handed.
And it was a little harsh, because the issue is whenever you upgrade the transformer, you might have changed behavior. And so taking a heavy hammer is not
just
the way.
Doing them all.
Yeah, is a little
tough.
Because mostly we'd say to people, look, if stuff's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
But you can always say show changes, and many times the transformer upgrades are about improving performance. And so if you say show changes and it talks in there about performance, then I'd say go for the upgrade.
Yeah.
But it may require you to add new parameters.
Yeah, there may be new input ports, new output ports. I mean, sometimes they do a lot more too.
And you better be ready and thinking you're going to do some testing.
Yeah.
Because sometimes behavior does change. So anyway, we've added this. It lets you take advantage of the latest things, but I would also say don't feel obligated or compulsive around doing the upgrades. But we've made it easy if you want to do that.
That's right. So now when you open a workspace, you just see this new drop down, and it tells you everything that's upgradable.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can walk through then and upgrade them one by one if you feel like it.
Yep.
Have you upgraded any, Don?
No.
I've done it once on an old workspace, mostly just take it for a spin. Works well. The team did a great job. As you can imagine, that was a huge job.
Yeah.
So now, what else you got, Don? Oh, about making stuff easy to automate. It's hard not to talk about FME Server.
Yeah, so we have a brand new FME Server homepage, so I'll go there quickly. Here we are on Blue Sky, which is our FME Cloud machine that we use. And you'll notice right away, welcome to FME Server. The common operations are right in people's faces, so you would just, you want to click, you want to run a workspace, you simply run a workspace. I'm not going to go into too much detail here because we're going to do a deep dive. You can also see your favorite workspaces, so I can make any workspace a favorite. And when it's a favorite, I simply click on it, and now I'm in the run screen. So no longer do I have to navigate through the repositories, the workspaces. I simply click on my favorite, and away I go. You can also see the workspaces that you just finished publishing, because often, those are the ones you want to do something with. So again, if I click on the workspace I've just recently published, I go right into the run, because typically what do you want to do immediately after you publish something? You want to test it. And so again, that's a big deal. And last but not least is you can see your jobs that most recently were run. So you can see some of mine are having a bit of issues here, but
at least you're able to make some snow globes.
Exactly. So you can see, and again, so that's the welcome screen. Very, very useful. Again, lots of feedback from users, and this is what some of the things they wanted. If we look at the job queue, so again, we've made some changes there. So now I'm an administrator, so I can see anything. But if I want to see the last jobs that Dimitri, he hasn't run any lately, but anyway. So when Dimitri logs in, he would only see his jobs because he's not an administrator. And if I want to see mine, I could just go there, and I would only see the jobs that I've run. So again, I'm not seeing everybody else. So this is huge. When you have a server that's used by lots of people, you don't necessarily want to see everybody's jobs. You just want to see your own. So, so there you go. That's just a quick overview of server. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So there we go.
It's going to be exciting to see that roll out.
Yeah. So again, tune in, and we're going to go into much greater detail.
Yeah. Even James Fee thought that the server 2016 was going to be great.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's
He's
great.
a tough guy to get.
He is tough.
Yeah, exactly.
James,
he tweeted that.
Yeah.
He did also tweet that he didn't like the FME user interface on desktop, but he wouldn't tell me what it was.
Okay, he's holding that back.
We keep trying.
We'll probably bump into him at the Esri UC.
And we can ask him in person.
That's right. That's right.
Don, you're a big guy about data validation.
Data validation is one of the common uses people use FME. And for the longest time, we had the geometry validator, which people just loved. And so now we've added the attribute validator. So again, now, before to validate attributes was really hard. Especially for a guy like me that was only allowed to use 10 transformers, I couldn't do much validation. So now there's a single transformer called the attribute validator, that enables you to, and you can just see the
Don, I think we got time. Do you want to hop into your workbench and just power it up? We don't have a screenshot of the attribute validator's parameters,
right.
But it is worth looking at. Just throw it onto this canvas here.
Sure, let me go here.
Oh, he's going to go full screen?
Okay.
You're a wild man.
Okay, anyway, I want to zoom out. Okay, where's my zoom button? Oh, this one here, right?
Double click over.
There we go. Okay, so now I can add attribute validator.
Yeah.
Or
you can type AV would even have done it too, probably.
Let's do that.
I don't know how many things start with AV.
A few, but it's near.
It's
right on
top.
top.
Yeah. Actually, while you're on there, there's a subtle change that was made. Just type AV again. It bothered me that the FME store transformers and the aliases used to be mixed in.
Right.
We actually made this change, and as far as I know, nobody noticed, which is a good thing. But now, whenever you're doing type to add, the built-in transformers come first, then the aliases, and lastly the FME store ones. Right. So that's what's going on there.
Cool. Okay.
So now connect something up, and then we'll show folks how this. You drop it in there.
Yeah.
And now let's look. And so now what you can do is you first of all pick one or more attributes.
Right.
So let's say you want to just pick a few randomly.
Okay, we'll pick that one, and we'll pick this one.
Sure.
And we'll pick this one, and we'll say, I think these should all be.
They're all going to be valid XML.
No, I think they all need to be characters. Well, that would be anything really. In our
so
let's say valid XML.
So if you do that, the type, and then I think you can say in here that they're XML.
There you go.
And if they aren't, it'll fail. So this is the idea. You can put like several attributes and then configure a test. Several attributes, configure a test. Yeah. This makes you could always do this with testers to some degree.
Yeah.
But now you can do a whole bunch. And there's a large. Actually, we did supplement the tester with many of these things. Actually, why don't you try regular expression? Now, if he goes over there, with any luck, I've never tried this actually, but
neither have I.
Open the regex editor. Yeah, there you go.
Look at that.
And there is that fancy pants regular expressions editor.
Yeah, awesome.
So so anyway, that's the idea of the attribute validator. Again, keeps Don well within his 10 transformer rule.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you can just see some of the things you can do there. Range checking, lots of.
Unique is an interesting one because what we'll say is that the first guy through will win.
That's right.
But subsequent guys won't.
Yeah.
So that's how we do that.
So there we go. So that's that guy's huge, and
Now his cousin is the geometry validator. He's been around a long time. We always are doing more work in this thing, and I think this time there was some more stuff added. And so again, if you're doing validation, the 1-2 punch of those two things
is huge.
Huge.
Yeah. Okay, rejected ports.
Well, we've been on a big sprint. When we started at SAFE 23 years ago, we were young and maybe a tad naive.
Yeah.
Because
we thought all data was good.
We thought data was inherently good. And so we used to code FME. It really was this way. If there was anything bad at all, we're shutting down.
Exactly.
Because we clearly this is
bad data.
This is exceptional.
Yeah.
And so with time we've kind of learned our lesson.
Yeah.
And we're continuing that. And so rejected ports are appearing on more and more transformers to basically catch the case where you're giving us stuff that we're not expecting.
Yeah. And something else we did from time to time was if there was bad data, we would just quietly consume it so the user never even knew.
Yep.
And so now we send that data out through the rejected port because what do we want to do with the data? It depends.
Yeah.
And so now we put it back into the user's control where it belongs, so the
Yeah.
user can decide what they want to do with it.
Now in FME 2016, as with 2015, rejected ports will light up red if they're not connected and data is going through if you're running in Workbench,
Right.
but the translation will just finish.
Right.
So it's not quite as bad as us just quietly consuming the data, but Don has made a good argument that it's close to that bad. So we are going to add for 2016.1 a mode for the workspace where if there's anything rejected, we're shutting down.
That's right.
So that way you are going to have to make the conscious choice to say, that's fine, Dale, I know you're a good Boy Scout and you want to kind of be alert, but I'm willing to put up with bad data.
Yeah.
Or I'm willing to handle it all myself.
That's right.
And I'll make the choice. Because of course you could always add a terminator transformer.
Exactly. But but as Dale said, it's an option. So if that's not the mode you want to be in,
Yeah.
then you can just go as on. Because again, what's the best behavior? It depends on what the user wants to do. So now the user has control of, hey, if anything's rejected, I want to shut down, and then I'll manually handle the cases I want, or just ignore rejected and carry on.
I've actually seen people attach the FeatureWriter
Yes, to write bad data.
after rejection.
It goes back to data validation.
Yeah.
And then you could tell people their data is bad,
Yeah.
and then write it to a different data set.
That's
Yeah,
right. So
I
you
like
can go
it.
to a FeatureWriter, run them all out to a CSV, and then if there was any
XML, you mean?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, even XML, because then I noticed Brian Timoney is on, and he's a big R guy.
Yeah.
Because then you could fire up an R script that ground through the bad data and gave you stats on it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of reaching for a lame example here, but
absolutely.
I think Brian Timoney is going to do it this afternoon.
Yeah. No.
He's going to make a heat map of his bad data using
Awesome.
R.
You gotta like that.
Yes. So anyway, rejected ports are a big deal. Kevin did a test the other day. We think to complete the rollout, we've got to add it to another 100 more transformers.
Yeah.
Because we were trying to be very thorough here, and any transformer where you accept an attribute for a value where it should be a number is potential rejection situation, because you could give me Dale as the value of the attribute, and now how am I going to buffer to a width of Dale?
Yeah.
That's rejection, baby. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, that's good.
We can handle rejection FME 2016.
We can.
All right.
Okay, get started without friction. More cloud punk. So this is all about getting started with FME. And one of the things that we saw with was people, we got feedback through our live chat and through the ideas, and just getting started with FME for a brand new user often was, for many users, just a bridge too far. They didn't know what to do next. And so now, with the great work of Iris and others at SAFE, we've really made it easy. So if you're a brand new user, you're given these small, really quick exercises where everything's there and you just walk through them yourself. So
don't underestimate the power of an animated GIF.
Absolutely.
The picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
The animated GIF is at least an order of magnitude.
Absolutely. And
And
Tiana's
so-
done a great job on those. So and there's even a little
Hey,
preview.
Tiana, we're talking about your
Yeah.
stuff. And she actually used her parents as guinea pigs.
Is that right?
And they,
wow.
they're able to get started with FME, so that's a good
That
test.
is a good thing. Yeah. So, yep. So you'll see that. So again, and of course you can, if you don't want to see it, just click don't show the me this.
Now, I mean, most people on this webinar already know FME, so they'll skip past this.
That's right.
But if you want to introduce your friend Jer to it, for example, now you don't need to feel bad.
Yeah. So really excited about that one. Yeah, and also remember FME channel. Remember the knowledge base. That's really the one key place to go for everything, and interact with users. And we're really excited about that. So
Yes.
yeah, lots of videos, lots of examples. Okay. Live chat.
We should all invite you to try it right now. Go to safe.com and say hi. Is Don going to do it?
Oh, sure. We'll go safe.
But this is about us wanting to be there for you. We introduced this in June or July, and the growth has been exponential. And we got lots of folks trying it out and asking us questions. And we're happy to help. In fact, we've beefed up that team, and we've connected our entire FME experts team to it.
Good. This is good. I'm glad we're not.
So have we blown up the Zopum server? Oh, there they are.
Okay, good. Good typing there.
There are currently 3 visitors. I've never actually seen that happen before. So I think.
Wow, look at that. So they might be, they might know it's us, and they might decide
We
to
might
talk
be
to us.
last,
we might be last on their list. So anyway, so it's there. And a lot of people are engaging us there. So anything, come there, ask us questions, and we're happy to help you.
Yeah, and sometimes we have to say, look, can you send us the data, or
absolutely,
can we get back to you?
It's not a quick answer.
But if you ask, you know.
Yeah, and our great team of support guys are also connected to that, so you can get access to them too. So really, we're excited about that.
Okay.
Okay, so what about server? Well, I'll show this. One of the things with FME server, of course, was just getting it installed and licensed. So installation was easy, but getting it licensed was a bit of a bear. So it could take hours. So anyway, we've made it really simple, and I'm going to go over here.
Well done setting that up. I'll mention that the #1 live chat thing that I've seen is related to people getting started with licensing.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
got a plurality,
yeah.
A plurality of the votes.
Yeah. So here I am on a brand new install FME server, hasn't been licensed. I'll log in, and there we go. I've logged in. I've never licensed this server before, and lo and behold.
Should you save your password, Don, or buy now?
I can't even see that because of there we go. Okay, and so now I haven't licensed it, so if I want to activate it, I simply just click yes. And request a license. And we in the Dawn at say. Now,
if Dawn lies here,
like Bugs Bunny at Yahoo.
Yeah, we do get people. It's amazing how many licenses Bugs Bunny has actually requested from Safe.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big FMEer.
He is.
And so
I'll say okay. Yeah. Bugs Bunny doesn't have a serial number.
Yeah.
So he says okay, and now it's simply requesting the license, fetching it, and there you go. So. We're almost done.
This is so exciting.
It's awesome.
It's like watching golf.
Anybody who's licensed FME server before, it is exciting. So there you go. It's better than watching.
I just got a lot of hate mail from all the golf fans out there.
That's right. That's right. So, me too, because I said it's better than watching golf. So anyway, Bugs Bunny got a 7-day license, or he got a 14-day license. Now, but it says that we sent an email to Bugs Bunny. And if Bugs Bunny had been on the ball, he would have seen that he would have got an email. He clicks a link, and then he would have got a 30-day license. But there you go. So anyway, we'll quickly figure out that Bugs Bunny at yahoo.com is not real. But maybe somebody gives us a fake email first, and then after they use FME server for a while, they turn it off.
So some folks, in a minute here, we're going to look at questions, but some folks have asked. Does that mean that the licensed server is on the same machine? Don, what does it mean about licensed server?
There is no longer a licensed server. The FME core deals with all the licenses. So there's no more FlexLM at all.
Yeah.
So this is much simpler, because if there's one thing the engines have to talk to anyway, it's the FME server core. And it also works in a fault tolerant, and we thought about that. So if you're in a fault tolerance with multiple cores, it just all works. So
yeah. So basically, we're chucking out and basically replacing with our own management system, which is much simpler and much more tried and true. And if you're offline, all the stuff that Don showed would still work. You just have to copy and paste from an email or a thumb drive or whatever you want to do. So that's that. And spoiler alert, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, somebody's asking, is it still FlexLM on desktop? And I would say, for now.
For now.
But we won't get there in a minute or two.
It's a bigger job. The floating is harder. Yeah. But for evaluations on desktop, it'll be sooner.
Yeah. So we're hard at work on that. So we're just again inviting folks to join the community.
Yeah. So there it is. So what's the URL for that, Dale?
Knowledge.safe.com.
Knowledge.safe.com.
Check it out. That's brand new in August, or I don't remember. When was it?
I think about August. Yeah, maybe so. Yeah.
And so we were using a Trello board. We are using now this thing, but the good news is we're using a platform from a company that's all they do is make this platform.
Yeah.
And I just got the list of improvements that they're rolling out shortly.
Yeah.
Last night I went through it. There's some great stuff coming, and we're really committed. We've got a big team working on it here to make this ever better. The community answers. If you're out there and you're struggling with a how-to kind of question, go to community answers. You're going to get, I would say, almost faster response than even a live chat.
Oh, the average response time is
shocking.
It's shocking. We got the number of answers you get. I think the average is you get like 4 answers per question or something like that. Yeah.
So I highly recommend.
And the ideas, I mean, see other people's ideas, vote on them, add your own idea. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And the knowledge base, of course, we continue to take input from many areas and decide when we should, write an article. So it's great stuff. Okay.
We must have at least one more slide. Yeah, just again, a reminder, we're wrapping up now. We're close to the end. I gotta ask on some skill testing questions here in a second. But again, remember, if you like to find out more, tune into those two. Should be interesting and good, roll up the sleeves kind of material in those two webinars.
And
a lot
also,
more demos.
Don't forget about the World Tour.
I love that logo.
I know.
I wouldn't be surprised there will be shirts made like that, and you could win one.
It might even have the cities on the back.
It might even.
Yeah.
So there's 60 plus this year, and Brian, Timoney, I'm looking forward to our annual meeting with you in Denver sometime in. We're changing the day though. We're going to be middle of the week. We're not starting in Denver this year, my team. We're going midweek. So Wednesday they'll have their snowstorm ready for us.
Awesome.
Should be fantastic. And while we're on that, we could give another foreshadowing. We can't say lots.
Right, but there is another world conference, the FME UC, coming worldwide in Vancouver
in 2017.
That's right.
Spring, like May or June 2017. We looked at the proposals yesterday. We'll make an announcement in the next few weeks about that. And there is an English-speaking chunk to the FME user conference. It's going to be in Germany, in Essen.
Yes. When is that?
Third week of June or something?
Yes, of this year.
Of this year.
Yeah.
So you can come see us in Essen. Don and I will be there.
Yeah.
Actually, we just booked our flights yesterday.
Absolutely.
And so
looking forward to it.
Looking forward.
I've never been to Essen. Have you ever been to Essen?
No. Essen means eat in German.
Oh,
so I'm looking forward.
I'm all over that.
So we got Essen, not Essen. So it should be good.
Okay.
All right. So that's exciting. And now we'll look at some of the questions. So Don.
Yes.
Brian Timoney, let's see. Somebody says XML schema writing.
Not yet.
You guys thinking of doing XSD?
We've talked about it. It's a tough animal, but at this point we haven't done it. We do it if you do sort of like the generic. We used to write, if you do the simple feature GML, we used to put out a .xsd beside it. But if we did that, then I could resurrect my old lady who swallowed a fly, and we could start going the road singing again.
Yes, exactly. So let's see, what else? What about memory management in FME 2016? Were there any changes?
Yes, I mean, in prior FME, let's talk about 64-bit, should we?
Yes, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, in 64-bit on FME 2015, we would use 12 gigabytes max per engine. Or desktop. So now we've greatly overhauled our 64-bit. So now we will use virtually as much as we can get our hands on. And again, we try to detect the swap. When we go into critical swap to avoid those sorts of things. But now with 64-bit and lots of memory, we use it, and you get way better performance.
Somebody says, any work on killing a server job if it runs more than X minutes?
We've talked about that. There is some technology we're using that could make that easier, i.e. Docker, but at this point, for 2016, no.
Randy asked, I know Randy, hi Randy, do we use FME around safe for anything other than spatial data?
Oh, absolutely. We actually use it to connect. We're running Slack.
Yeah.
So we have FME connecting Slack with Salesforce, with our Bugzilla.
Yeah.
And in fact, our entire licensing back end is FME server running workspaces. It gets the request, does all the work, checks with Salesforce, so lots
sends
of stuff.
all this. So it works with Amazon. So we use it like crazy. Actually, our whole migration, I still want to do a webinar on that, the migration to that knowledge.safe.com, there was no spatial in there. There was lots of text, lots of information, lots of users. That we merged Trello, Salesforce, and there's one other thing. Oh, and then the knowledge base was a few kinds of Salesforce. 2 different parts of Salesforce. Sucked that all together and pushed it all to Answer Hub. Thousands of articles, thousands of users actually. We even got down to assigning users back to their original voting. So so yes, we sure do.
Yeah, we have a number of these cloud instances that are considered production and safe, and if they go down, our internal system.
Actually, I think the whole build system uses FME server in the back to gather the statistics and monitor the health. So lots of things there. Brian Timoney mocks us and says that hex bins are so 2014.
Okay, well.
Sorry, Brian. What about the GPU, Don?
We don't use it yet.
Yeah. We don't use it yet. What about Sherlock? Why didn't we did a Doctor Who reference, a Star Wars reference, but no Sherlock reference?
No, the Abominable Wife really.
Bride, you didn't like that
Yeah,
one?
the Abominable Bride. I didn't like that one too
And
much.
that's why we took out the Sherlock references.
Absolutely.
So somebody says, Matt says, what about wormholes? The #1 voted thing.
It's coming.
It's coming.
We're working on it. It's in progress.
Yeah, we really want to do that. Let's see, anything else? What if you upgrade a transformer and you don't like what you did?
I would do Control-Z.
Undo.
Undo.
And Mark Stokes said you can always make a copy of the transformer and then change it too. But
Right.
yeah, it's
So make a
undoable.
copy of the transformer, have it separated, and then you can put it back if you want it.
If the attribute validator finds a problem, do you know what it is?
Yes, because the output feature has it's a list of errors, isn't it?
Yeah.
With each
That's right, you get a list of...
attribute name and then the thing that failed.
Yeah. So, let's see. Somebody asked if we were going to give these slides out. Of course we will.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to call Swift the new language from Apple, which has been open sourced.
Yeah. Well, with the FeatureWriter or whatever you want to do.
Could be done.
Yeah.
Oh, people are trying to register, and they're having troubles on our World Tour registration, but I know top people are working on it. It seems like it's working right now.
Maybe we've overloaded the account.
Somebody says, when will technical preview be removed from the Mac? We're close.
We're very close.
But to be honest with you, we need to improve our testing infrastructure.
Yeah.
So one thing we can't do with the Mac is do the testing in the cloud.
In the cloud. Yeah.
And so we need a whole room full of those little tin cans.
That's right. Yeah.
And so maybe we'll get there. The 64-bit grid inquest transformer. I think that sometimes when we work with third parties, they don't have 64-bit stuff.
Right.
And grid inquest is the library from Ireland for doing the coordinate shifts there. So we'll work on that. What if you have FME 2014? You want to get FME 2016? What do?
You just download it and go.
Yes, you should have a valid AMC.
Yeah, and so
As long as you do, you're good to go.
Yeah.
And you can even keep them both working.
Yeah.
Now, what if you make a workspace in FME 2016? You want to put it onto FME 2015 server?
Ooh, you're asking for trouble because of course you could be using transformers that don't exist or transformers with new so you're playing with fire there.
Does the FeatureWriter support all FME formats?
I believe it does.
Yeah, if you can write it, you can put it in the FeatureWriter.
Yeah.
Does the attribute manager get rid of the attribute creator?
No, it's still there, but well, yes and no. You can create attributes in the attribute manager, but if you love the attribute creator, it's still there. But personally, myself, I don't use the attribute creator anymore.
That's right. And in fact, one could argue that the attribute remover, renamer, copier, concatenator, expression evaluator,
all those go away.
One transformer to rule them all.
Yeah.
So I think, Don, we're almost out of time.
Yeah.
What else do we want to say?
Well, it's just a hugely exciting release, and this one feels really good. We've been doing this for a long time, but this is a very exciting release, both on desktop and server. Also lays the foundation for some really exciting things in 2017 that we haven't even talked about. Dale didn't even hint about them.
Yeah.
But it's all around performance.
Whoa.
So
that's a big spoiler.
It's a big spoiler. So look for potentially an order of magnitude faster performance in some of these things. And a lot of work's been done, but this is a multi-release project. So
we'll say goodbye to everybody.
Yeah.
Don and I will hang around and answer or talk about a few more questions. If you want to ask questions, there's a big team right now. But if you have to go, thanks so much for tuning in. Go ahead and try out FME 2016. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, and we hope to see you on the World Tour. And if you can't make it to the World Tour, remember we're online. Chat with us. Engage the community, and we love to hear from you.
Come see us in Germany.
Yeah, come see us in Germany.
Come see us next year in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Or come see us at the World Tour stops.
Yeah.
And thanks so much. Always, again, it's the support of this amazing user base we have that allows us to basically be like a co-op and pool all those resources to try to make something that's better for all of you. And and it's really honestly a thrill and a privilege to get to work on this product day after day and once a year release it to you.
Yeah. So Dale and I are very lucky. We get to work with a great team here, and also the great users we have worldwide. And it's always fun to go and meet and at the World Tour, user conferences, or any other conference, come and talk to us. We're always, that's why we do what we do, and we're very, very lucky, and we never forget that.
So goodbye, everybody. But Don and I are going to hang around and pick through a few more questions. Keep on answering, but if you got to go, take off, and have a great day and great fun. And I will talk to you again on Monday.
Yeah, and I'll talk to you on February 2nd, which is that a Monday or Tuesday?
Whatever day
I don't even know, whatever day it is.
All right. So Don, there's some more fun questions here. What about MongoDB?
It's coming, isn't it?
Yeah, it's coming. It's
in .1, right?
Very soon, probably later today, we'll put up some .1 betas.
Awesome.
I might as well.
Yeah.
Will you support i686 machines for Linux? I don't even know what that is.
That's a processor 686, isn't it?
i6 is that
Intel
a new
686.
Is that a new electric BMW?
Yeah, it might be. It might
The
be.
i686?
The i686. I can't imagine why we wouldn't.
We'd have to ask our team. We will get back to you
i686.
at that. Has the Esri projection engine been moved to work in 64-bit? You can use Esri geoprocessing stuff if you install background processing, or you have ArcGIS Pro installed.
Okay.
And then those Esri things are there on 64-bit. Mary says, thanks Mary, it does sting, have you improved your internal testing processes from FME 2015?
Ooh, that one hurts.
But she's right.
Yeah.
We took a lot of blows on 2015, and yes.
And the answer is yes, and they're ongoing. We're really...
But that said, as much as it pains me, I'm fairly confident that within 48 hours, there's going to be something that we're going to go, oh. But we tried so hard this time.
Yeah.
We shut down way earlier. We did 3 all-hands, all-day test parties. We buy lunch for everybody on those days. They're expensive.
They are.
Worried about that. We're going to go to hot dogs next year.
That's right.
So, I think we were far less ambitious in the last third of FME 2016. And
focused on just getting it right. Yeah. And we pulled things, close to in the past we would have just gone for it. And,
So I think, Mary, we've really licked our wounds and learned our lesson from 2015. So let's see. What else? My future depends on getting his Linux desktop to some kind of i686. All right, we're gonna have to figure out what that is.
Yeah.
I never knew. I thought somebody would want to run on Raspberry Pi. We did have somebody try to build on Raspberry Pi. Didn't get too far there. What about Git?
Versioning system. Yes, that's something that's on the docket for 2017. Is on FME server having an integration on the back end with a versioning control system.
Yeah. Oh, another thing we didn't talk about actually is how much more robust our polygon making is when you have a bunch of arcs in the game.
The whole geometry engine underneath, we've done a lot of work there. Yeah.
So Mary, that one was for your clients, although we didn't actually know that you personally were wanting that, but I know that that your organization needed that. It's dramatically better.
It's huge. It's way better.
We have somebody that discovered the Higgs boson particle working on that. Now that's a bit of an exaggeration, but she was working at the place at the time.
That's right.
Where they did that. So that's good enough for me. As long as there's some element of truth.
Absolutely.
Rich asks, why can't I right-click on a tester and make a test filter?
Interesting.
Because test filters are a little more friendly.
They're much more powerful. You can have multiple tests. You just don't have pass and fail. You have as many output ports as you want. I like the test filter.
In fact,
and the output ports can be named with what you're actually testing.
Here's what we should do for Rich. If you selected 3 testers in a row that were chained, we could be able to make that into a test filter.
Oh.
That's got to be easier than finding the Higgs boson particle.
I think it is easier than that.
So that's a great one, Rich, and we'll give it a good try. What else should we say? Oh, it's 32-bit. Somebody's reported that i686 is 32-bit.
Ooh, we don't build to 32-bit Linux anymore.
Yeah, I think that might be a bridge too far.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Roland, about the i686. Yeah, I think Rich is right that idea of the right-click on the tester is on the. It was on the Trello board, would have been imported into the
ideas community.
Yeah. Let's see. somebody wants to run only a few feature readers without having them all run. So you'd have to we can disable some and then run.
Yeah.
But you could imagine in some future universe, right-clicking on a feature reader and just saying run.
So they want to do it during authoring time?
Yeah. So you're just in there and you just want to say run, and then only that one would go.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine if we didn't have readers.
It's tricky though. Sometimes a feature reader, it would have to be a feature reader that's not triggered by, because sometimes all the
It would have to be one that has nothing going on.
Yeah.
In fact, it would have to be the future feature reader that takes no input.
That's right.
Then
you could do it.
Yeah. So let's see. Okay, for some people, let's see. I don't know. Maybe we can call it quits there. I don't know. Mark Stokes, does anybody that was on the Q&A want to chime in? It was somebody else. STL. Don, you're a fan of that format. That's the 3D printing format.
Mm-hmm.
We should do it.
Yeah, we should. It's on the list, and it came close to 2016. But
Yeah.
Yeah, FBX, that's another one we're working on right now.
I think we've probably answered most of them.
I think it's pretty much good. Robin, thanks for. I know you guys are really busy. There's literally hundreds of questions today.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Good. Well, I think maybe we will call it quits. You know, Don and I just love sitting here talking FME. We'd like to stay all day.
Yeah.
But for the 220 of you that are left.
Well, thank you so much for coming and for sticking with us till the bitter end.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of like Ferris Bueller. I love that scene at Ferris Bueller when the credits are rolling. Movie's over, folks. You can go now. All right. Thanks so much. Take care, everybody. And again, we just love working with you. Looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. Well, months, I guess.
About a month, yeah. On the road. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Have fun with FME 2016.
Yeah. Take care.